Hello, fellas. I wanted to make myself a little Star Wars tier list today, as I'm a huge Star Wars fan. However, I do have to admit I have never seen Episode 9. Um, I'll tell you why in a second. You could probably guess why, but I've never seen Episode 9. I've never seen the Solo movie, so those will be left out. Just about everything else on here, except for the holiday special. I haven't watched that either. But other than those few, I'm not going to get into it. So we'll start this off with now, I do want to preface I might have some controversial opinions or I might have some generic opinions, you'll see. But yeah, we're gonna this might be a little controversial. So we got episode 4, the first Star Wars movie, the OG, the one that started it all. We wouldn't have any of these without this one. Okay? Great movie. Love love the effects in it. Really it's an older movie, but it looked really good at the time. I still really love watching it. I love the characters. It's a great introduction. That being said, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Star Wars movie. I think there's quite a few of them. Actually, I wouldn't say quite a few of them. There's a decent number of them that I like more. So, because of that, I think it's a good one to start with. B tier. Solid movie. Okay. A decent movie. It's not kind of middle of the road for me. Now, we're going to go to The Empire Strikes Back. Where are you, son of a bitch? Right here. Empire Strikes Back. This is one of the darker Star Wars movies, especially near the end of the movie, because it's like the good guys kind of lose in a sense. Um, it's a movie where they end up in sort of a worse spot than they were at the beginning of the movie. But I think that's a really good thing to have in storytelling so that everybody can get back on their feet and they can progress as characters. And I think this is one of the best Star Wars movies. I think this is amazing. It has one of the most iconic lines in movie history with Luke, I am your father. So because of that, S tier. One of the best, baby. Now we got Return of the Jedi. I love this movie. This is fantastic. We get to see Mr. Jedi Luke Skywalker. He's an actual Jedi now. He's got his iconic green lightsaber, the dark clothes. He got the fit on. He risen up all the bitches. He looked cool as fuck. Han Solo gets rescued out of the what is it, carbonite? I don't remember. It's been a minute since I watched him. Not too long, but I can't remember what it's called. Um, really, really good movie. Boba Fett dies in a really stupid way. A lot of people really hate the Ewoks, but I didn't mind them. I like this movie. It's not my favorite, but I really like this movie. So we're gonna put in A tier. Solid, solid pick. Now we're gonna go to the prequels. Now, where are you, episode 1? Here you are, episode 1. Now, in recent years, people seem to really like the prequels. And I think there is a bit of nostalgia for them, um, especially since it's been over 20 years since this one came out. I think it was what 99 when it came out, maybe 2000. I can't remember. I was a little baby when this one came out, so I actually did also grow up with the prequels. I grew up with the original two, but I think the first ones I actually watched were episode 1, 2, and 3. In fact, I saw episode 3 in theaters. Just a side note. That being said, I rewatched this movie not too long ago, and it's kind of boring. I think this movie's kind of boring. I don't think the writing is all that great. I think the movie is boring. I think majority of it is just politics. It's got some great scenes in it, some interesting stuff. It's not the worst thing ever, but I think this is a pretty weak movie. So uh you know what? We're actually gonna can we make um can I add? Oh wait, I meant to add a row below. Hold on. This needs to be D tier. Make F tier. All right. because this is going into D tier, but I can't put it at the bottom because there are movies I like less than this. So D tier for this one. Not a huge fan of episode one. I think it's boring. Episode two. Now, when it comes to episode one and episode two, very mixed opinions for some people. Some people think episode one is the worst of the prequels. They is by far the worst, and none of the movie compete. And then some people think episode two is the worst. Some people think episode two is such a step below episode one, and it is 100% worse. Um, and I think there is some truth to both of these arguments because I actually like episode two more than one. But that doesn't mean that I actually really like episode two. The reason I like episode two more is because it's bad, but it's bad in a more fun way to me. Whereas episode one is bad, but it's bad in a boring way. But episode one is very boring to me. Episode two has a lot of really shitty dialogue, but it makes me laugh, and I really appreciate that. Um, so that being said, oh, and I didn't mention Darth Maul scene, really great in this movie, best scene in the movie. Action in this movie is also really good. You get to see Yoda fight a little bit. You know, all the prequels have good action. Like I think we could just get that out of the way. They all have pretty good action. Um, so me personally, I'm still gonna put it in D tier, but I'm gonna put it just above episode one. Now we get into episode three, The Goat, baby. This one is a huge step up from these two movies. A huge step up. It looks better. The acting is better. Hayden Christensen does a much better job in this movie than he did in episode two. Although I don't even think a lot of it is his fault. I think it was just bad direction. Regardless, the final fight with Obi-Wan and Anakin is my favorite fight in all of Star Wars. It's so great. It's not a perfect movie, but I've really grown to love it more and more over the years. It is my most watched Star Wars movie. I love this movie. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Also, if you've never played the Revenge of the Sith game, I'm not giving it extra points because the game is really good, but I just want to throw that out there. If you've never played the game, you should play the game. It's really good. It's a really great dueling game. Um, so this is my favorite Star Wars movie. S tier. S tier for the goats, baby. That's kind of a that's kind of a basic answer, right? I feel like it is. All right, now we'll go to episode 8. Now, not episode 8, episode 7, The Force Awakens, which would be this one right here. So, this movie is kind of a sad thought to me because I actually kind of like this movie. I like episode 7. I think it was well made. In fact, I think all of the newer movies are mostly well made. They look gorgeous. All three of them do. They're visual marvels. You know, they look amazing. And I don't even think the writing was that bad in episode 7 either. I thought it was pretty good. And I thought it was a good introduction to a trilogy. But it gets minus points just because of what comes later. And that's kind of a shame, you know? And I don't want to put it against it too much, but I don't know. I'll still watch it. I'll still watch the movie. But that being said, it's going into C tier, kind of filling up the tiers right now. I liked Poe. He wasn't in it a ton, but I liked Poe. I liked Finn. Ray was pretty cool in this one. She wasn't, I don't feel like she was entirely a Mary Sue yet. I know some people are going to hate me saying the word Mary Sue, but I don't think she was quite at that point yet. You know, I think it was stupid that she beat Kylo, but I think at the very least you could explain, like, there's explanations why she beat Kylo. Oh, he's being arrogant. Oh, he got shot with a little crossbow bolt, so he was injured. He was also very emotionally drained from just killing his own dad, you know? So, and the fact that he was toying with her in the beginning and then let his guard down and got slashed. I don't think any of that. I think mixing all that together, you could make an argument. Okay, she beat him because of that, because he was being a dumbass and he's an immature child. Okay, fine. So I wouldn't say that yet, although I don't think it makes a lot of sense that she was able to already pull the lightsaber towards her and do a Jedi mind trick to that stormtrooper just because she wanted to, just on the theory that maybe she could do it. That's stupid. But regardless, C tier, not the worst, but it ain't touching any of these four. Now we move on to episode 8. Fuck you. F for fuck you. Fuck this movie. I hate this movie. This is the movie that killed Star Wars for me for a long time. I hate it. I don't like this movie. There's so much shit wrong with it. I don't want to go on like too long of a rant about it, but I hate what they did with Luke Skywalker's character. I don't think he was well written at all. The fact that they made it to where he like contemplated killing Kylo Ren just because he's having bad thoughts, a bad nightmare. Oh, I got PTSD. Let me kill my nephew. Like there's nothing wrong with displaying PTSD in a situation for a character who's gone through a lot of trauma. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you twist a character who brought back one of the most evil people to ever exist, brought him back to the light side because he believed in him and the fact that it was his son, like he was his son, and then he gets a little bit older and oh no, I can't like this I like the meme. It's like this dude's having a bad dream and pulls out his lightsaber and then it basically pushes him into the dark side fully. I hate that. I think the comedic shit they were trying to throw in to this movie was annoying. It felt like they were trying to make it a Marvel movie with its comedic timing and all that stuff. It was completely unnecessary. Um, let me say some positives. Poe is in it more. That was pretty cool. I like Poe, but the whole plot with Poe trying to like convince the people on the ship to go with his plan instead of just blindly believing in theirs when it was clearly a bad plan, and then it's just, oh my god, dude, I hate this movie so much. It's riddled with so much shit that I don't like. Um, there's three different subplots in this, or not subplots, three different plots in this movie, and I don't think any of them are good. The shit with Poe was annoying. The shit with Finn and Rose was annoying. I wasn't a huge fan of Rose. She was just kind of there. Um, the shit with Ray and Luke was probably the best of the three because at least you get to see Luke training her. But like I said, I don't like what they did with Luke. I'm spending a long time on this movie. I mean, to give it credit, the movie looks gorgeous. It looks really good. And then killing Snoke, I think that's an interesting idea, but then it just makes Snoke a fucking wasted potential piece of shit character that nobody cares about, and then forced them into doing some weird shit with the last movie, from what I heard, bringing Palpatine back, which is just so stupid on so many levels. Like trying so hard to, appeal to nostalgia, whatever. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop on episode 8. Now, I cannot rank episode 9. Now, I have heard from some people that it is worse than episode 8. I have heard that it is an awful movie, but and I'm sure I would hate it. I'm very sure that I would hate it, but I'm not going to rank it just on that. Also, I kind of skipped because I didn't rank Rogue One because that came out between episodes 7 and 8. So I'm going to rank that next. So, thoughts on this? Don't really have them. Rogue One, what can I say about Rogue One? Ending scene with Darth Vader was badass. I thought it was a great movie. It was, oh, this movie was really good. Basically telling the story of how they got the Death Star plans, the origin of it. They really made Carrie Fisher look young at the end of it. Um, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember really loving it. I remember really liking the characters. Now, I don't want to spoil every single one of these movies if you haven't seen it, but spoiler alert, every character, all the main characters die in this movie, um, which is really sad. But I think it's a beautifully told story. It's really good. No lightsaber fights except for Darth Vader killing the people in the hallway, but that's not really a lightsaber fight. That's just a massacre. Massacre. Um, so we're gonna give this A tier. Fantastic Star Wars movie. I'd recommend it to even people who don't like Star Wars, I'd recommend it to them. Um, what is this? I don't know what that is. Yeah, get that out of here. All right, the last one I'm even able to rank because I didn't see Solo is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I mean, it's basically just an introduction to the show. So, nope, I give it C tier. I don't, I don't really have much to say about it. It's basically just an introduction to the show, and the show is really good. But this movie's kind of mid. It's kind of whatever, you know. So, yep, there's the tier list. If you liked it, you can give the video a like. Um, and if you disliked it, that's fine. You can still like my video. Or you could dislike it and give me a popping on my butt. I can give a prediction on where I think these would be. I don't know. No, don't fuck with the tier list. Okay, keep it. That's the tier list. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. Have a good day.